I'm talking with College of Wooster baseball coach Tim Pettorini, who's in the midst of his 38th and final season leading the College of Worcester baseball team. The Scots have a 13-5 record at this point. Are you savoring even the smallest details of your job more? What's it like going through your final season?
Yeah. I think early in the season, we really, I really tried to focus, on the little things and spending more time during the game talking to the players and, doing things like that. Now we're kind of into the grind of the season. Things have kind of just, sped up. We played yesterday. We played today. We've got doubleheader Saturday, doubleheader Sunday. So it's a little more hectic. So I don't think I'm enjoying it quite as much as I would have liked. But it is fun. And, I'm blessed to have unbelievable coaches around me, young coaches, and the players are tremendous. So that really makes it fun. And we are trying to savor it a little bit more. And, you were here just a few minutes ago when I was talking to George Powell. Team we're playing today, and I've known George a long time, and 5 years ago I probably wouldn't have made that phone call. I just would have assumed, but now we want to talk to guys and spend a little bit more quality time with them.
Yeah, your teams have won 1,226 games headed into your next game. You have the most wins among active D3 coaches, fifth all time. But let's go back to when you got that first win, 1982. Leading the Scots. You tied Akron 0-0. Then your first win came against Earlham, 7-2. I think your team finished 16-16 that year. Do you remember anything about your first win?
I know we weren't very good. We really wanted to beat Akron. I know that. Mike Birkbeck pitched against us. We pitched Chuck Chicana in that ball game. Probably pitched him too long because he ended up coming up sore. I don't know if it was his next start or one after that. So he missed a lot of the season. So probably put too much into the first game to try and win it. But, the Earlham game I truthfully don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember the Akron game a little bit more because Dave Frost was the coach and I'd known Dave for a while. So, that was good. And, obviously, knew Birkbeck. And so that was... and it was down in Florida. I remember that. I think it was in Jacksonville, but I'm not exactly sure. But
what were you thinking, like, as a first-year head coach at Worcester? I mean, do you think you were in the back of your mind thinking a few years here, go to a bigger school, or what was it like just moving from the high school ranks and becoming the head coach here?
Yeah, I mean, that was, once I got here and got the job, the first thing I realized is, man, we didn't have any players. We weren't very good. Because we had a really good high school team and we weren't a very good college team. I knew that. But no, when I came, it was a faculty position. I was assistant football coach. I was defensive coordinator for Jim Cap. Mm-hmm. The way it worked was you were on a 7-year tenure track. And you had to get tenure in 7 years or you had to leave, basically. And, I coached football the first year and football recruiting and baseball, and we weren't very good, so I knew baseball recruiting was going to be, practically 24/7. And then that first summer, I was taking classes at either Akron or Kent, and there was just one enough hours in the day. And I said, I told my wife, I said, this isn't going to work. You can't do all this stuff. Yeah, so we better plan an exit strategy fast because it's going to be a few years here, and then we're going to be gone. Mm-hmm. And which was because Rhoda came and loved the community and had a great job, and we settled in. But we said, we thought, man, this would be a great place to raise a family. Fortunately, Coach Van Wee, really got to work and got it so we kept our faculty status, but we also became, more staff, and we didn't have to have tenure to stay, mm-hmm. and that allowed for guys like Tim Pettorini, Steve Moore, a lot of coaches to be here for a long period of time because we didn't have to go the tenure track. We could keep our faculty status, and which really, in terms of benefits and things, really made it a very attractive job and a job that then you could stay at and be here for a long time.
Your teams have made 6 Division III World Series appearances, 25 times in the NCAA Tournament. I mean, with so many great teams, are you able to narrow down and think about some of your most memorable wins or most memorable moments as a coach?
Oh, obviously 3 games kind of stand out. The 3 times we played for the national championship and came up on the short end, all 3 of those stick out a little bit.
Yeah.
But, the thing that, sticks out too is maybe some of the best teams we ever had didn't go the furthest. And, it's a combination of luck and playing well at the right time and not running into a good pitcher. I mean, we ran into a couple of really, really good pitchers, in World Series action. And, the team we took to Southern, played Southern Maine. We lost them in the first game. They had a young guy named Jensen who was a draft choice and played in the minors for several years. And he beat us in the first game. Then we came all the way through the loser's bracket. And he was waiting for us in the championship game. And we had to exhaust all of our pitching to get there.
Yeah.
And just didn't have, anything to go up against him. But he was probably the only kid who could have beaten us.
Yeah.
We were a pretty good team.
Yeah.
But, you run into guys. And last year we felt the same way. The team from Texas, they had an outstanding pitcher, 93 miles an hour with great breaking stuff. And, as we watched the teams, we thought, okay, if we can get this first one, we might have a real shot at this thing. And but we didn't have an answer for him, and he was really good and shut us down. And and after that, the guys took it pretty hard, and we were gone pretty quick. But things like that. So it takes a lot of luck, but try not to focus too much on specific games. The year we beat Marietta to go to our first World Series was pretty special. I do remember that. Mark Brooker was the pitching force behind that and got us there. But, I try to remember more the players than, the specific games.
Yeah. That kind of leads me into my next question. Besides the wins and, the NCAA titles and the NCAC titles and the national tournament, what are some of the things you're most proud of as your coaching career, is coming to the end here?
Oh, it's the players. I mean, that's why we do this. Those guys are, unbelievable. You go to a school like Wooster that has such demanding academics. Costs are high. The demands on the student are tremendous. And then you add in the baseball component. And, we've demanded a lot out of our young people. And, and I think it's helped them in a lot of respects to grow up and really, get ready for the next steps in their life after college. But, that's really the important thing that we've tried to, that we focus on. And, I think it's been pretty good. I get a lot of texts from those guys and phone calls. And I can't even tell you how many weddings Rhoda and I have been to over the last 38 years. But it's been a lot. Yeah. And, and we even got concerned because for a while we got gifts out of the bookstore. We said, well, we better get everybody the same thing. We don't want to short anybody. And then the bookstore gifts weren't getting it, so now we do a check. It's a lot easier, but it's, those are great things to go through. And you recruit somebody as a 17-year-old and you see how young they are, and then when they walk out of a place or cross that stage and get their diploma as a 22-year-old man, and then you see them 10 years later when they come back with kids in tow, and it means a lot, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, obviously you thank your players over the years, and you have one of the best relationships I've ever seen for a coach with players when I see your alums come up to you. But who are some of the other people that you'd like to thank for helping you get to this point in your career? I'm sure it's a long list.
Yeah, it is. And, and it's been, when came, obviously, Coach Van Wee was very instrumental, and By Morris and Fred Kropp and Bill Baird. Those guys were, the staples of the college. And, they're not around anymore, and that's a shame. But those guys were very, very special, meant a lot to me growing up, and really teaching me the ropes and teaching me about the history of the college and things like that. But, there's all kinds of people you thank, the ground crew. We've had an unbelievable ground crew over the years. You think, you start naming people and you miss people, but even those lowly newspaper writers and we've had a great group there. The Galen Schwarzentroopers, the Ken Nemus of the world. Those guys were just fantastic to us and treated us so well. Obviously family is huge. Assistant coaches over the years have been tremendous. We're having a get-together on the 27th, and hopefully a lot of those people will come back. And I'm sure I won't be able to thank them because I'll be too emotional to do it. But, sometime during the course of the day, night, I'll be able to go over and put my arm around them and tell them how much I appreciate everything they've done and how much they mean to me and Rhoda. And that's pretty special.
Yeah. What do you want to see from this 2019 Scots team? They've been a little up and down. I know you weren't happy with last night, but what can they do to maximize their potential? What do you think you can get out of this team down the stretch?
Well, we weren't very happy last night. It was pretty ugly, but today's a new day, and that's the great thing about young people. I didn't sleep very well last night, but our players probably slept like babies, but they'll come up the field today with a smile on their face, and they'll be ready to go, and we'll get after it. But we've got a lot of room to improve. We lost some key people, and we've got a lot of people back, and I think that's what everybody's kind of focused on. But we lost people like Jake Fling and Drew Tornow and Nanak Saran, and then you throw in National Player of the Year. It's kind of a big loss. So we've lost some key people. Our younger guys have, even though they're veterans in the sense of juniors and seniors, they're still young in terms of actual playing time. So they've got a lot of growing still to do. We're trying to cultivate a pitching staff. We really figure if we are going to have a chance to be really competitive at the end of the year, we got to have that big number one guy. And we think we have him in Andrew Hill on our staff. But he needs to, continue to develop. But you get to postseason, you got to have a guy to trot out there in game one. We know we got guys in game 2, 3, and 4 that can be very, very good and stack up against anybody's 2, 3, and 4. But you got to have that number one guy, and so we're working hard to get Andrew to take that spot. And I think he is making progress. Although he took a little step back last night, we brought him in relief, and he wasn't ready. It was cold. It didn't work. But he'll get a start on Saturday, and his last couple starts have been very special. So we think he's on the right track. And so, but that's a big part of it, and just consistency. We haven't been very consistent offensively, defensively, running the bases. We've been just kind of all over the place. So it's, we don't want to peak too early. We don't want to, but we got to play better than what we did last night. We had mistakes and breakdowns in just about every facet of the game. Kicked a couple balls that were very routine plays that we should make. And if we do, you win that game, 5-4 or 6-4 or whatever. And you go about your business. But when you don't make those plays and it comes back to bite you, it stings a little bit. So hopefully it stunned our guys a little bit, get a little refocus. I'm going up to the field early today. We're going to do some special drills to try and improve a few things at home plate and on the mound. So we're going to continue to work at it, and I know the kids will. That's a great thing. Our kids have all bought in. They're all in to what we're trying to do. And I haven't said this. Everybody's talking. Obviously last year you want to go out with the big trophy, and we were the number one ranked team in the country preseason and all that. And that's all well and good. And we're not that good at this point in time to do that. But we might have the potential to be pretty good down the line. We'll see as the season goes on.
Well, to wrap this up, I just want to say it's been a privilege for myself to cover you over the years. I was never like the main beat writer for your team, but I've covered a bunch of games. I'll never forget covering when you guys beat Ohio State in 2003. I don't know how you scripted it that your son Terry could also hit a home run for Ohio State. You went home with a pretty happy wife that day.
That's funny how, those things work. Being from Columbus, me and Rhoda both being from Columbus, a lot of people from old times showed up to see us and obviously see our son play. So it was pretty special.
And now your grandson Tyler's playing great for Wooster, only a sophomore. He's committed to Ohio State, so that's one of the many things I'm sure you're looking forward to doing a little more in retirement, right?
Yeah, I'm going to
Watching
spend
him.
a little time down at Bill Davis Stadium. We have a seat marked out from before, so we know where to sit to stay away from the sun and still get a good angle. So yeah, hopefully Tyler's going to continue to grow and develop, and yeah, he's a pretty good player, but he's got a long way to go, and hopefully Grandpa's arm will hold out so he can still throw some batting practice along the way, and it'll be fun though. We got a lot of things we're looking forward to doing, and that's one of them. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to do this interview, and kind of on behalf of everyone at the Daily Record, have a great end of the season. I hope you do get that big trophy.
Well, it'll be fun. We're going to
Yeah.
try, that's for sure.
Yeah.